What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we are continuing our look at the Transformers trading card game by having a look at another plane. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Thundercracker. Thundercracker is the kind of card that I absolutely love. It is better against melee decks than non-melee decks, but essentially anytime you're using a melee character and you sit down opposite your opponent and they reveal they're playing Thundercracker, your heart should sink just a little bit. Now if we have a look at the stats here, it is an 8 cost, which is dead on average, and it has 12 health, which is dead on average, and it has 1 defense in both modes, which is actually 1 below average. In alt mode, it's got an attack of 4, dead on average, and in bot mode, it's got an attack of 5, 1 above average. So generally speaking, the stats are ever so slightly below average, because essentially the defense is 2 below in total, and the attack is 1 above in total. Okay, but we got skills here. Now, the bot mode is actually quite nice. When you play an action, this gets +1 until the end of your turn. And then, of course, at this stage, we'll dig more into this in a minute, but I cannot not mention Brainstorm here, because Brainstorm lets you play another 2 actions. So, you play Brainstorm, get +1 attack. Then you play another 2 actions, you get another +2 attack. Just me, or that sounds kind of fun. And then, when you flick into alt mode here, you just get to put 2 damage onto a melee enemy. That's wonderful. Now, not everything's a melee character, and I'm not going to run through all of them now. That would take a while, but Autobot Mirage, seeing quite a bit of play, or at least, when I say quite a bit of play, I mean anecdotally having a look around the Facebook groups. Obviously, we don't have a metagame and tournament results yet. Only in car mode, but in car mode, it's a melee character. Bumblebee Legendary Warrior, the secret rare, which is really good, melee in both modes. Cliff Jumper Renegade Warrior, one of the better cars, melee, but only in alt mode. Dinobot Snarl, pretty much a staple in Dinobot decks. That's a melee character. Grimlock Dinobot Leader, one of the very best, according to our top 5 list, the best character in the game. It's a melee character. Another one of the best characters in the game, Nemesis Prime Dark Clone, melee character. Optimus Prime Battlefield Legend in alt mode, a melee character. Quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of good melee characters around. You get to do 2 damage to them. Now, at this stage in the video, I want to point out that as far as I'm concerned, I have a set of 3 planes that I like playing over the others. I think, especially if you're going Thundercracker here, you've got to go Starscream, which, well, in alt mode, when you flip to it, you do damage to an enemy equal to the number of other planes that you have. This combos very nicely with Thundercrackers, do 2 damage to a melee enemy, kind of thing. And that means that if it's other planes that you have, then you need to be playing as many other planes as you can. So you've got to be playing a 3-plane deck, and there is only one 6-cost plane at the moment. It is Skywarp Sneaky Prankster. It's alright, but it's the only 6-cost plane that we have. Sunstorm Fusion Flyer would be another option to flick in instead of Starscream. I think it's alright. The attack is equal to the number of cards you have in hand, so you can build that up quite nicely. And in bot mode, we are trying to raise Thundercracker's attack, so that would work with Sunstorm as well. And when you flip to alt mode, if you've got fewer than 3 cards in hand, draw until you have 3 in hand. So actually, it does give you a little bit of a draw engine, so I can see an argument for playing Sunstorm over Starscream. Man, all these planes, too many S's. I'm not, just so we're clear, I'm playing Starscream. But if you want to play Sunstorm, I won't be mad at you. So here, essentially, what you really want to do is be doing 2 damage to an enemy in alt mode, as long as it's a melee enemy, so we can build on that. We've got Zap, does 1 damage to an enemy, and we've got Plasma Burst, does 2 damage to an enemy, or Photon Bomb does 2 damage to each character in play. Now, if that sounds awkward, and it is, do remember that there is an action card purely for planes here. It is Bombing Run. that lets you move 1 damage counter from each of your planes to one of your opponent's character cards. So Photon Bomb hurts your opponent a lot more than it hurts you. You still have to take 1 damage counter on each of your planes, but if you can play a bombing run straight afterwards, maybe play a brainstorm and then both of them at once, it's going to be hard to have all 3 of those cards in your hand. But if you can, that's going to be a wonderful, wonderful combo. And remember, all those cards that I've just mentioned, they are all action cards, which means that they are going to give you +1 attack on Thundercracker. Now, the other thing we want to do here is just try and build up our attack. Clearly, Brainstorm is a no-brainer here because it lets you basically play 3 action cards at once, including Brainstorm. That's going to put your attack up. That is awesome. But there are some other ones that we can do here. Leap into Battle gives one of your characters +3 attack until the end of your turn. That sounds pretty good to me. And the bigger they are gives one of your characters +2 attack. But while it's attacking an enemy that has more stars than it, it gets PS4, guaranteeing that you do at least 4 damage regardless of the difference between your attack and your opponent's defense. And the great thing here is you're an 8 cost. 8 is the average, which means any above average card is going to be getting PS4 from you here. That's going to be nice. That's going to be tasty as you go through the game. Now, I'm sitting here talking about playing action cards to get +1 attack and all the ones that fit beautifully in with Thundercracker here, and there are a bunch. But do please remember, we've got your standard ones like Incoming Transmission or Rapid Conversion, which are just generally good cards that are probably going to be played in a whole bunch of decks. In terms of upgrades here, Energon Axe will give you an attack of 3, but you can only put it on damaged characters, but it also gives you PS2. After a Photon Bomb, for instance, that could work. Grenade Launcher gives you an extra attack of 4, but it gets scrapped as soon as you attack. And Primary Laser is the best just in terms of general increasing attack. It increases your attack by 2. It's fine as far as it goes. It's not amazing, but there's no if, but, and maybe like there are on the other cards. And do remember that Aerial Recon is an upgrade card just for planes, ups your defense by 1, and when you attack or defend, you look at the top card of your deck, and you may scrap it. If you're about to attack and you see a blue icon, scrap it. If you're about to defend and you see an orange icon, might as well go ahead and scrap it. Now, there are some cards that really helped out with range characters here. We've got Armed Hovercraft, which increases your attack by 1, and then does 1 damage to each enemy, which of course fits very nicely with Photon Bomb, with your ult mode, with Starscream. So if you're playing planes here, I think this is an absolute no-brainer. One of the absolute best things about planes, as far as I'm concerned, is the Thundercracker Starscream combo, which just does a bunch of cheeky damage. And the fact that you can then take advantage of Armed Hovercraft just seems borderlining on a little bit broken here. We've also got Rapid Ascent, which ups your defense by 1, and then your opponent chooses a card from the hand and scraps it when you attach it. I don't think that is anywhere near as good in this kind of deck, but it is something to bear in mind anyway. I really like Thundercracker here. I think it is one of the best planes, and honestly, when it comes to planes, I'm looking at Starscream and Thundercracker, and I'm only sticking in Skywarp just because it's a 6-cost plane and I want 3 planes. I think the fact that you can use Armed Hovercraft to do cheeky damage, along with your ult mode doing cheeky damage, along with Starscream doing cheeky damage, is crazy, crazy good. And I should at this point mention Rollout, which lets you flip all of your characters from bot mode to alt mode, and it's got an orange and a blue icon, which is great. That will actually activate Thundercracker's alt mode skill and Starscream's alt mode skill at the same time, which is awesome. And also a side note about Starscream, if you're not in plane mode, it's not a plane, so make sure Starscream gets flicked over at the same time as or before your other planes. Otherwise, you got a bunch of bots in play. That's not going to let you do the extra damage. So timing is very important when it comes to Starscream here. It's a really, really good card, Thundercracker, with a lot of options. And when I first started looking at this game, I was looking at Dinobots and Insecticons and cars like a lot of other people. I think some people are sleeping on planes. I think they're great. But I want to know what you think. So please let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, but I would ask you to please remember the most important rule. Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me over on Twitter at the Wossy for some more, well, thoughts and such. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.